everyone, and welcome to the Woman's Cave.
The Woman's Cave?
Woman's Cave. It's
Have you been drinking?
Yes.
Water?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just
straight
water.
Yeah. Fermented water. Yeah. Fermented water.
That happened to me the other day.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. It was just like, how long has this water been in this cup? As we choke and spit it out. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
We digress. I'm Jade.
Oh, and I'm Winona.
Well, we've been in our house too long, okay? COVID is happening. You just like, you go to work, you come home, okay? Or actually, our work isn't. So anyway.
Is in our home, yeah.
You're just home. All right. So anyway, yeah, we wrote literary life guides for pop poetry. Yes, sometimes, y'all, we have wise things to say.
Or sometimes it's just
it's probably just our co-authors. We just write the things in between, make it pretty. So, and I thought divorce was bad with other life lessons, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir and verse. Also, I'm just gonna say, and I thought I did my journey alone because it's my favorite book, and why not? Yes, you're not supposed to have a favorite, but I do. So it is what it is. Like, and you can find out all the other things that we are doing and some of the things that we don't want you to know on www.andithoughtLadies.com. But y'all aren't here to hear about us. You're here to hear from our wonderful guests. Do your part.
Cut me out.
Do the part. Winona, do the part.
Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself? Cut me out.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Roat, and I work for a publishing company at Mountain Brook Inc. I'm also an author of both young adult and adult fiction, and I love books. Those are 3 things about me.
That's fabulous.
Okay. So, when did you start loving? Well, no, I lied. That was going to be my question, but what I really want to know about is, what do you do for the publishing company?
Right. Okay. So my official title is publicity manager, but I am an editor there. I do publicity. I do advertising. I do some cover design sometimes. So a little bit of everything.
You get to like absolutely write all day, every day, and love it.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, I love it. I love it for you. Okay, so when did you fall in love with books, and how did you know you wanted this to be your career?
I say that I fell in love with books before I was even in kindergarten. I was 4 years old and dictating stories to my parents, and they'd write it down for me on construction paper. And so when I was in elementary school, I would say, "Oh, I want to be an author," and people were like, "Oh, that's so cute." And I kind of, had my practical phase in middle school and high school, where it's like, well, I probably shouldn't do that. But luckily, I got over being practical and went to college for professional writing instead, and just figured I could work with books all the time, and that could be my job once I realized that, you don't just have to be an author. You can also be an editor or be in publicity or all sorts of different things having to do with books.
That's fabulous.
I want to say, first of all, this is a dream come true because I've been trying so hard to interview someone that does with publicity in a publishing house. Anything that you want to tell us about that job at all? That's not even a question. I just don't care. Just tell me about the job.
Let us know.
Right. So kind of like what I do
on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
We're open to hear any story or non-story you'd like to tell.
For sure. So I do all sorts of different things in the publicity sphere. So first of all, I'm kind of doing author relations, working with the authors, trying to figure out what they already have in place as far as social media, what they're already planning to do, that sort of thing, and then helping them supplement that, giving them tips. I have a huge document that I call the Author Boot Camp that I send to everybody that gives tips on how to run launch teams and all that. And then on my end of things, I'm sending out their work to places like Publishers Weekly and Library Journal and Booklist and whatever. And then sending out press releases to local newspapers, local TV, radio, trying to set them up with podcasts and bloggers and reviewers, that sort of thing. I'm booking ad slots for various books. Running some discounts, things like that, trying to get the authors out there.
That sounds like a busy day to day. So where do you find time to write your own work? And tell us some of the titles of your own work so we can pick it up.
For sure. So as far as finding time for my own work, I think I learned in college how to balance a lot of things because I was doing a ton of internships and working and also taking a full credit load all at once. So this actually, it's kind of a reprieve. It's nicer now. My own titles, so I mostly write young adult speculative. So Hope Bullinger is my co-author for a lot of these, and Hope and I wrote Dear Hero and Dear Henchman, which are superhero, supervillain romances. So they're very satirical, comical, and they're all written in chat fiction format. So it's completely text messages, voice transcriptions, things like that. As far as my own personal work, I have YA contemporary fantasy trilogy called the Wraithwood Trilogy that takes Arthurian legend, magic, and sets it in our world in upstate New York with a mysterious mansion and hedge mazes and all sorts of gothic feel. And then this fall, Hope and I have coming out a sweet adult romance series called The Roseville Romances, and the first book, Picture Perfect, comes out in November.
Well, that's fabulous. Like, you have a lot going on.
That's a lot of writing.
How do you transfer some of your experience at work to your own work to help you promote your own work?
Yeah, so I think working with authors and seeing what's working for them, what's not working for them, knowing kind of behind the scenes what tends to spike sales and what doesn't really does help on my end of things as I'm doing publicity for our own books. For example, I found that cover reveals do a really good job. I was finding that launch teams weren't quite as good on the ROI, so we started really focusing in on cover reveals, Instagram blasts, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's very helpful seeing from the back end what does and doesn't work.
Wow, that's nice. How do you feel about like the marriage between publicity and literary? Because I mean, back in the day, you just were like, oh, there's a new book and people bought it. So it's kind of weird now to see how hard of a push it is for attention to get to the book. So how do you feel about the marriage that they have now?
Right. Definitely. It was interesting learning from a lot of professors and that sort of thing that had been published in like the pre-internet age, I guess, not pre-internet, but pre-Amazon, all that sort of thing, because things were very different then. You kind of wrote the book, you sent it in, and the publisher did a lot of your publicity for you. Now you have to do a lot of your own publicity. And that can be hard because, I mean, for me, I didn't have any social media until I learned that you have to have social media to be an author, because wasn't really an outgoing person, but I've come to enjoy it. I've come to enjoy connecting with readers, being part of the book community. I think it's easy to lose yourself in marketing and constantly thinking about numbers and sales, but when you take a step back and realize a lot of it's just connecting with like-minded people, sharing things that you're excited about, getting involved with other authors, other books, then it becomes a lot more fun and it doesn't clash as much with the fun that is writing a book versus marketing.
Now, what's your favorite author to work with? Not names, but type of author.
Favorite type of author to work with, I think, is somebody who's coachable. I mean, it's really nice when someone comes in already and they have a great platform and they know what they're doing, that sort of thing. But someone who's open to trying new things, open to new ideas. Yeah, someone who is willing to work with me.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing.
I love that. Someone who's moldable.
Yeah, I like someone who's moldable. What are some tips that you would give authors that are kind of like struggling because they don't really have a social media presence and they don't know which one to get on? What is some advice that you would give them?
Right. I think quality is better than quantity would be my main piece of advice. You don't have to be on every single social media platform. And a lot of times the numbers aren't as important as really engaging with people. If you have tens of thousands of followers, but you only get 1 or 2 likes because they don't really care about what you're doing, that's not as good as, say, having like, 200 followers and half of them are really invested in what you're doing. So I think not worrying so much about hitting number goals or about being available on every platform and posting constantly, but just looking at where do you feel most comfortable, where do you shine, where are your people, finding your people that you like interacting with and who are interested in what you're doing.
Great.
Thank you so much for all of this. So where can people find out more about you and your books and buy them?
For sure. So my website is a pun. So my name is Alyssa Roat, Roat. And my website is Alyssa Roat, Wrote. So alyssaroat.com has my books there, some other publications, ways to contact me, all that sort of thing.
I loved it when I saw Alyssa Wrote. I went, wait, I have the wrong. Oh no, that's so cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. It was extremely cute. And we thank you for coming on and taking your time out of your schedule today. We really appreciate it.
Yes. And my dream is fulfilled. Check box.
Check box, baby. One day we'll eat at Crafty.
Yep. We only got 2 more to go?
I know, right? That'll be amazing.
Yeah, but me being an A-list movie star ain't happening, so we can just scratch that one off the list.
Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap us up.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughtLadies.com. While you're there, take a moment, go down to the bottom of the page and see the charities that we probably support. Maybe you can support them also. We thank you in advance for that. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you if
you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Will Nona
and Jade. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.